Hello everyone, I am Durga Saujanya, Assistant Professor from Department of ECE, MLR Institute of Technology. I am going to give the video lectures for the subject Embedded System Design. Our today's topic is Embedded Tools 3. So here in previous session, we have discussed what are the tools used for development of embedded software. So here we are continuing with that session. This is under the Unit 3. So in the summary of previous session, we have discussed what are the tools available for development of embedded software. So first we have to write our program using editor and compiler, cross compiler and assembler, cross assembler, linker, locator. So how can we use the locator script for allocating memories, and embedded tool chain. So tool chain means the number of tools used for development of embedded software. So these are all will be seen in we have discussed in the previous session. So now in today's session, we are going to discuss about native tool chain, output file formats, loading program components, locator maps, executing out of RAM. So the first one is native tool chain. Here in previous session we have discussed the embedded tool chain. So embedded tool chain is nothing but what are the tools which are developed for one platform and run on the another platform. So which are called as cross assembler and cross compiler. So like that. So those are the tools which are developed for different platforms. We have seen in the last session. So first we have the cross compiler. So after that we have the linker. After that we have the locator. So after that it is assigned to the target machine. So these are the chain we have seen in the previous session. So now native tool chain. So native tool chain is nothing but a native linker creates a file on the disk drive of host system that is ready by operating system called the loader. So whenever user requests to run the program, so this native linker will assign some memory to that particular application or program, and it creates one file and it keeps that file in the operating system. Whenever a user wants to execute that program, it will call that file. So that is called as native linker. So it creates a file on the disk drive of the host system and it is read by the part of the operating system. So what are the files which are executed by the operating system? So whenever user requested that particular operation. So that is called as native linkers. So the loader finds the memory into which to load the program, copies the program from disk into the memory. Here native linker and native loader. So as we have seen in the previous session, those are the cross compiler and linker and loader which are used for cross compiler and cross assembler. So those are used for embedded systems which are run by the programmer and based on the user request. But here this native linker and loader, so those are run by the operating system itself. So based on the user request. So here the loader finds the memory into which to load the program. So this program will be loaded to which memory location. So the memory allocation for that program will be done by this loader. So the address resolution. So address resolution is nothing but from which address to which address. So the memory addresses which are assigned to that particular program. So this is the program which is written for our application, and the compiler will convert this high level language program into the machine language program. So after getting the machine language codes, here this is given to the linker. So linker will develop so here whatever the object files coming from different files. So this linker will links all these files and generate the executable file, so which is given to the loader. So this loader will allocate memory to each file in the loader. So here there are different files are there in the linker. So for each file some memory will be allotted. So this loader will perform that function. So this loader will assign some memory to each file of this program. So and the starting address and ending address of that particular programs. Native toolchain. Here the process of building application software with native tools. So it must be used that here many microprocessor instructions contain the addresses of their operands. So therefore here if the move instruction in the above example here, so this is here about.c, here we have the move instruction is there. So the move instruction will load the value of variable into the register that must contain the address of the variable. So whenever we have the move instruction, so it indicates that the data which is available in this memory location will be moved to R1 register. So that means we need to collect the data from the address which is defined in this instruction. So that we need to go to the memory location and we need to collect that address of the variable and we need to load that into the R1. Similarly, call instruction is also used the address which is host on first. So this process of solving the problem is called address resolution. So that means here in the native tools, so here in the program we can simply giving the variable names only. But while going to the operating system, it will collect the address of the variable from the memory and assign that to the particular instruction. So the particular register, it will be stored to the particular register. So therefore assigning that addresses to this will be having a problem. So that will be resolved by using this native tools. So here when this file is compiling, the compiler does not have any idea. So what is the address of, so in the compiler itself we are not having any idea about memory. So the memory will be included at the loader side. So that means in the compiler, so we are not having any idea about the memory. So therefore it simply treated this as a variable only and it will not assign any memory location by the compiler. So therefore the compiler does not have any idea what the address of that variable and it compiles separately and leaving them as an object files for the linker. So as it does not have any idea about memory, it is treating those variables as separate files and it will create separate object files but for those variables. So now the linker will decide the address of that must be patched to the call instruction. So now this linker will have the will take the address of that variables from the memory and this will link those addresses which are allocated to that variables and so which are created with two object files. So after loader copies the program into memory, it will exactly identifies the addresses which are in the memory. So this is called as address resolution. So that means the compiler treats all the addresses and all the names which are assigned in that program as variables only or files only. So it treats each variable as a different file. So therefore different object files will be generated for each variable or each file. So these object files when is given to the linker, so it will link all the object files and it will assign memory to all the object files. Therefore for each object file some part of memory will be allocated. Therefore we have the address for that particular object file will be at the loader. So then this loader copies the program into that particular memory which is defined by that variables or files. So which is called as address resolution. Next, output file formats. Here in most of the embedded systems, the loader will not be there. Only we have the locator will be there in the target system. So therefore that locator must know where the program resides in the memory. So that here the locators will have the mechanism to indicate the target system where the program file will be there in the memory. So it uses number of different types of output file formats to indicate the target system where the program file is there. So in memory, in which memory location the program file will be there, in which memory location the data file will be there. So the tools which are used for loading our program into target must understand the file formats defined by this locator. So there are two types, generally there are two types of file formats are there in the locators. First one is Intel hex file format. Second one is Motorola SRecord format. So this is the Intel hex file format. This is the Motorola SRecord format. Here in the Intel hex file format, here there are different variables are there. So the first line indicates the data, and next it indicates the address, and next it indicates the count of the data bytes, and next first characters of each line. So next we have the data and checksum. But here in Motorola format, first we have the address, and next count of the bytes, and next the data, and first line indicates the first character indicates with S by this format. Here the two different formats are different. Here there are two different formats will be used by the locators of the embedded systems. So the first format will use the colon as the first character, and in the second format the S symbol will be used as the first character in each line. So those are the two different output formats. So those are used for indicating the operating system where the program file and where the data file are available. Here this is used for indicating the memory of the data, and these are used for indicating the address of the program. So loading the program components. So here we need to, in the entire program, we need to store our program part in program memory, and data part or variable part or the modified data part in the RAM part. So here some RAM memory will be used and some ROM memory will be used by our program. So most toolchains deals with this problem by dividing the program into segments. So here how can we resolve this program? So that means here, so the locator don't know whether it is related to ROM or RAM. So it's simply whatever the object file it have, it is allocated memory to that object file. So most of the tool chains follow the segmentation process. So here segmentation process is nothing but the memory is divided into different segments, and only the particular segment which is assigned for data is allocated for data part only. The segment which is assigned for code is allocated for program memory only. So each segment is nothing but it is a piece of program, so that can place in memory independently of other segment. So it will not be overlapped with other segment. It will have its separate memory addresses and memory locations. So therefore it can solve the problem of overlapping of addresses and overlapping of data. So losing of data. So all these problems will be avoided by using the segmentation. So here when processor power on, the embedded system programmer must know where the first instruction, so with the help of these segments. So that means we know that the code segment is mostly allocated for programs. So that whenever the power on, the first instruction is to be taken from the program memory only. So easily the programmer and the embedded system software easily understood that will be located in the code segment only. So this is the advantage of segmentation. And next, loading program components. Let us consider, so we can explain this with an example. The first one is, there are three modules are there. One is x.c, another one is y.c, another one is z.asm. So that is here in these three modules, two modules are the high level language programming, which is C based program, and the third one is assembly language program. Here, so we have used the cross compilers for compiling the program and generating the object file. So here, so that x.c contains some data and constant strings also. Here y.c also contains instructions, uninitialized and initialized data. So, and that assembly program contains the assembly language functions, startup code and uninitialized codes. So here, this cross compiler will divide this x.c file into three parts. So one is the code part, another one is udata part, another one is string part. So as in it is already discussed that it contains some instructions, that is some program part and some data part, and some strings are there, constant strings are there. So that it divides, the cross compiler will divide this into three segments. So the instruction, all the program part will be, all the code part will be stored in the first segment, all the data part will be stored in the second segment, all the strings part will be stored in the third segment. So like that, this y.c. So here the code part will be in the first segment, the data part will be in the second segment, and here we have the uninitialized data and initialized data. So for uninitialized data we have one segment, for initialized data we have another segment. So and in assembly programming file, which is z.asm, it has assembly language functions, startup code and initialized code. So here it is also divided into three segments. For one segment we have the functions part, program part, and in another segment, in second segment we have the uninitialized data part, uninitialized code part, and in the third part we have the startup code. So this is the second cross compiler and this is the third cross compiler. So now this linker or locator reshuffle these segments and places the z.asm startup code at where processor begins its execution. It places the code segment in ROM and data segment in RAM. So here the linker and locator. So here this cross compiler will divide the entire code in the x.c into three segments. After dividing this, here this locator and linker and locator, so it will easily identify which part will be moved to the ROM, which part will be moved to the RAM. Here whatever the code part we are having, so that code part will be moved to the ROM, read only memory, and data part will be moved to the random access memory. Therefore here it will keep the code part of the x.c and y.c code part and z.asm code part, and here we have the startup code also, z.asm startup code. So these are all will be moved to the ROM part. And the uninitialized data, here we have the uninitialized code. I think here you have. Yes, these are the data part, data and strings. So these are all will be moved to the RAM memory. So this linker or locator reshuffle the three segments and it will change the three segments with all the linked files. So here, so what is the purpose of this linker? It links all the object files assigned to that particular application. So for this particular application, it will link all the object files. So from all the object files, whatever the code part, all the code parts of each object file will be moved into one segment, one memory, and all the data part in all the object files will move into the another segment, which is RAM memory. So most compiler automatically divide the module into two or more segments. So mostly all the compilers will divide in the same way. So that is all code part or instructions or startup code. So these are all will be into one segment, and uninitialized data and initialized data and constants. So all will be into another segment. So now this will be allocated for ROM memory and this will be allocated for RAM memory. So this cross assemblers allow to specify the segment into which the output from the assembler should be placed. So now the locator will easily places these segments into the memory. So this is the process which is happened in the embedded processors. So next, here the Z at the beginning of each line, it indicates this line as a list of segments. At the end of each line, the address will be indicated. So at the locator, so it indicates the memory. So here, so now the locator places the segments one after other in the memory. So first the segment is C start. C start is nothing but startup code. So IVECS, that is the code part and the code part. So these are all will be placed in the ROM memory one after another. And these are all the initialized data and uninitialized data and constants. So these are all will be placed in the RAM memory one after another. So this is the process happened in the loading program components into the embedded software. So now some other features of these locators are, we can specify the address ranges of RAM and ROM. Here if the program does not fit within those functions, here we can say that, so one after another all the code parts of each object file will be located in the memory, but we are not specifying any the memory range. So some locators will have the possibility to specify the memory range. So that means for ROM, what is the starting address and what is the ending address. For RAM, what is the starting address and what is the ending address. So we can specify the address at which the segment is to be ended. So therefore another segment or stack memory will be started at there. So it is easy to assign memory to stack by using this process. So we can assign each segment into one group, and then the locator will indicate each group with each individual segment. So then it is easy for execution of each process individually without having any overlapping of memory. So next, locator maps. Most locators will create an output file called as map. So that list where the locator placed each of the segments in the memory. So locator maps are nothing but, so it indicates the memory range. So that means where here we have already discussed that these three are the parts which are loaded into the ROM memory, and these three are the parts which are loaded into the RAM memory. So here we have used two separate segments. So what is the segment addresses? So here this map indicates that, so where all the files are located in the memory. So this map consists of all the addresses of the functions and global variables. Here, so these are the data parts. So in which address these are located. So this is the data memory, this is the code memory. Here it is the starting address of this data memory, and this is the ending address of this data memory. So and this is the starting address of this data memory, and this is the ending address of this program memory. So here in this way the addresses which are starting address and ending address and how many locations are allotted for that particular code part or data part. So these are all will be indicated in the locator map. So these are useful for debugging any locator capable of running a startup code in ROM, which load the embedded code from ROM into RAM to execute quickly since RAM is faster. Here we can use another process which is memory shadowing. So for getting the memory faster access. So that means here we know that RAM is very slow memory and ROM is very fast memory. So to load the data which is in the ROM into the RAM, so then to make the process very fast, so we can copy whatever the data present in the ROM into the RAM. So by using the locator. So that process is known as memory shadowing. So executing out of RAM. Here we know that RAM is faster than the ROM. So therefore the fast microprocessor execute programs rapidly if the program is in RAM. So we know that the RAM memory is accessing the memory is faster compared with the ROM memory. So therefore when the program is stored in the RAM, it is possible to execute it fastly. So therefore some programs which are stored in the ROM will be copied into the RAM. So for making the execution very faster. So the startup codes which are runs directly from ROM slowly. So that the startup codes which are available in the ROM are run very slowly. So if we are copying the codes which are available in this ROM into the RAM, so then it makes the process very faster. So the locator will do all this process and it will collect all the program which is in the ROM and copy all the program and addresses which are available in the ROM into the RAM. So this is about the execution of the program files in the RAM. So in this session we have discussed what are the topics covered in the previous session and what is the native toolchain. In the previous session we have discussed the embedded toolchain. So in this present session we have discussed the native toolchain and what are the different formats available with the locators and what is the process happened in the loader for loading the program components and what is meant by locator maps. How can we execute the program which is in the ROM into the RAM. So these are all discussed in the present session. Thank you.